try to have music, so this is not like, this is what I typically do. I've lost my voice, so hopefully you can hear me. Wait for a little bit while some people jump on. I'm asking if you can, okay? This is probably going to be one of the hardest posts that I've ever done in my entire life. This is unbelievably devastating. I might get emotional. I'm going to try not to get emotional. I'm going to try to go through this quickly. I do possibly want to do a Q&A at the very end of it. I am responding partly to the last two of Tim Ballard's posts, one of which may have been taken down this little bit. On these Instagram lives, on these Instagram live videos, if you're commenting here and then when I post it, your comments are going to go away. So if you want your comment to stay, you got to come back and post onto it. So I ask those of you that are the praying type, please say a prayer in your heart that truth, because ultimately we're all truth seekers, I hope. We're all truth seekers. Please, again, with these comments, you guys, when I look down here, it's hard for me to see these comments. So please just try to hold your comments, okay? So we'll get going, and then I'll play a video. So, here we go. So please hold your comments to the end. Tonight I had another difficult conversation with 3 more victims of Tim Ballard's manipulation and sexual predatory behavior. A few other influential witnesses were there on the call. We heard these heart-wrenching stories and more of Tim Ballard's blueprint grooming tactics. I guess I'll call them systematic grooming tactics. And so I'll go over these. Hire caring, attractive women who have great desire to help children. Inflate a sense of importance by convincing these women, most often mothers and wives, that they will be a big part of saving children by being an undercover operative. Once sense of purpose is inflated, training sessions began. While there is some legitimate undercover training being done in these cases that I've spoken with, training would also consist of creating sexual chemistry. Intimacy was needed with Tim. So to create a sexual chemistry, intimacy was needed for Tim. This level of intimacy varied from kissing and petting, naked showers, to oral sex, and possibly more. So from what I understand, Tim Ballard was the only member of the OUR to participate in these types of training sessions. So it's possible that some of the other trainers, they'd go on these couple ruse thing. And sometimes I guess some of them would hold hands. We also understand, let me see if let me go back here. We also understand that his resignation from OUR was due to internal complaints due to his sexual behavior. So this is really important, okay? This is really important. Because a lot of people are saying, why is this coming out now? It's really suspect now, which I understand. But when all this stuff pieces together, you're going to understand why this is a big deal, okay? The women were manipulated to participate in these trainings under the guise that they were helping to save children, that this activity had the blessing of Elder Ballard, that the medium and psychic Janet Russo gave readings and inspiration that was the divine will. Questions were asked from Tim to these women, what are you willing to do to save children? Sorry, I get emotional about this kind of stuff, you guys. Like, this is deep stuff. Demand complete confidentiality from the victims, right? So this process was like, you can't tell anybody about this, right? Have victims erase all digital correspondence with which was meant to be part of the couple's ruse in the supported case that a sex trafficker grabbed their phone and wanted to see salacious material. They would see correspondence from said victim and Ballard. Possibly Ballard would maintain the correspondence and cherry-pick text to make it look like he could blackmail them if they said anything about the ruse. His particular operations did not yield the amount of sex-trafficked children he is claiming. So this is all notes, okay? Many of the other operatives were much more successful than Tim, not using the couple's ruse. Multiple marriages have been broken up. Tim is attached to this psychic medium, Janet Russo. I think that's how you say her last name. So, questions that I'm getting right now, because it's hard for me to read some of these comments, right? But I get some of these questions. So I wanted to address a lot of these questions, all right? Because when I first heard this, I'm just going to try to talk openly about this, okay? When I first saw this with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the response, and to be honest, I'm just going to be honest, I was upset. This is, I didn't understand. It didn't make any sense. I thought it was political, right? And so it was very frustrating to me, because it's like, this looks like somebody like within our church is, a political hit job. I'm just giving you my honest feel about this stuff. That's what I was thinking. So then, I'm now kind of defending him, right? I got a couple messages from his guys like, hey, here's the presser. So I'm sending this stuff out, defending him, right? I did a live video about it. I took it down. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I'm trying to piece all this stuff together. And then I got a message from somebody. I don't want to go too far into detail, but I talked to this first person, and this person said, I'm one of them. I'm one of them. And I know this isn't going to make sense for a lot of you guys. It's not going to make sense, but all I can say is that when you know, you know. And this has anything to do with my police background and my interviews. It has nothing to do with that. It's like, when you know, you know. And I knew right then, but I wanted to get details. So I asked a lot of questions. I made my, and I got a lot more details, because, when I did my first couple posts, it was vague, right? There was a lot of people like, hey, there's got to be more than this. You just heard one person, now you're coming out. This is a total hit job. And it was like, you guys, this is not a Kavanaugh moment. Like, these are people, these are operatives. Does that make sense? These women were operatives. These aren't just like these random tips. And so then I heard more testimony the next day, and more testimony, and so now I have an opinion. Now a lot of people are saying, they're saying things like, how dare you do this? Like, how dare you come out? Like, you can't be doing, you're not the judge, you're not the jury. Have you guys seen those comments? You're not the judge, you're not the jury. So why are you the executioner? You should be doing this. And it's like, you guys don't understand what he's doing. I believe he knew this was coming. He knew this was coming. This was the exact reason why he did this whole Senate stuff, because he knew this stuff was going down. And And so now, I mean, it's freaking brilliant. And so, and I do have a message for Tim at the very end. Because, and for people that want to now, you know, I have a message at the very end. So what I'm trying to say is that he's trying to play it both ways. So everyone's like, you can't do this in the court of public opinion. He's the one that's doing it in the court of public opinion. He's the one that's doing it. He's the one that's using everybody around the world right now. Literally, that movie is going around the world. I think it's like #1 right now in like Brazil or something. So he's doing this in the court of public opinion and knows dang well that there's a lot of moving parts that these stories can't be told right now, or at least aren't going to be told right now. And so this isn't about, people are like, oh, you can't judge. I am not judging this man to heaven or hell. I am not the final judge. We are all sinners. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're on the left. It doesn't matter if you're on the right. It doesn't matter who you are. We are all sinners. And that's what I was trying to convey to Tim at the very beginning. If you missed what I said at the very beginning, my very first post, let's see here. It says, I said, we learn from Greek tragic heroes from the story of Macbeth and from the collective wisdom of our forefathers that good men with good intentions can and do make mistakes. Even King David, who was beloved of the Lord, needed to be rebuked and to repent, which we all do, some of us, every single day. That's what I was trying to explain. And after I personally spoke to one of the female victims coming forward about, and I'll give, not right now, but I'll give even more details maybe later. I have concluded that Tim Ballard needs to return to his roots and principles, recalibrate his spiritual compass, reconcile those around him, friends and supporters, and hopefully reemerge as a renewed and more refined man and leader. The real measure of a man is not if he makes mistakes, sometimes really big ones, but what he does to correct them. I have made big mistakes in my life. I'm pretty sure that every single person on this live has made some big mistakes in their life. That's not what this is about. This is about that you have a guy that is not only victimizing, and in my opinion, from what it sounds like, still doing it, but you have somebody who is taking down a lot of good people as he goes up. So you got a guy that's willing to take down everybody and tear down the great state of Utah and to tear down all of it for him. And so I felt, and I know it's not going to make sense to a lot of people right now, okay? And you know what? This is probably a sin of mine, is that I probably care too much what people think, and I shouldn't. I just need to care about the truth, which all of us should. And all of us have our opinion. We need to be searching for the truth. And right now, we need to be speaking out, because this is the truth. There are multiple women who have been groomed by Tim Ballard. Let me get back to this. I get a little passionate about stuff. So let me get back to this. Is this a part of, I think I kind of explained it, is part of a coordinated effort to dislodge Tim Ballard's Senate run. I believe Ballard, his Senate run announcement was a throw up smokescreen. That's what I think will come out shortly, and you'll understand. And the latest video that he just did was so bizarre. I don't know if you guys saw his latest video, but it was so bizarre. And I'll play it in a second so you can understand. Actually, I'll play it right now. Let me just play it right now. So so he's seeing that all this stuff's coming out. So then he does this video, this very weird, choppy video about the couple's ruse now, right? The couple ruse. So let me switch this around. All right.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about a very important undercover tactic that we use that involves female operators. Based on the allegations that are flying around and the questions being asked, we've decided to tell you these tactics. While I do so, I'm going to pay homage, respect, love, and gratitude for these female operators who serve such an important role in rescue operations. You need to understand that children don't just fall out of the sky. They don't fall into your desk. It's a very proactive work. So if I am a man or one of my operators approached by a trafficker trying to put a child to service on that person, or a sex worker, and that man, that operator, doesn't partake of what's being offered, they lose credibility. And so we came up with a concept that we call the couple's ruse or the couple's tactic, where you go in together pretending to be a husband or a wife or boyfriend, girlfriend. Now you go in and one of you could pretend that, yes, I want to partake in this sex act with this woman or this child, but I can't because my girlfriend won't let me, but maybe we can do it later. So is that cool? Like, let's keep talking and she'll warm up to it eventually. But the bottom line is we block for each other. So the trafficker sees the situation, recognizes that I have every excuse not to partake. Hundreds, maybe thousands of children have been rescued using this amazing tactic. As I've had these talks over the last several weeks with these amazing, heroic female operators, they want their voices heard. They want you to know what it's been like for them working with me and other operators. You, the supporters, it's time for you to look under the hood. And you can make your own decision about these tactics. But I want to pay homage to these female operators. I want to give them their opportunity to tell their story and bear their witness to the amazing work that they have done working with our teams. So please, over the next several days, listen to their testimonies, listen to the work they've done, and thank God for them for rescuing these children.
So, okay. So I would agree that it's time to look under the hood. So I would agree that it's time to do an entire restoration of the vehicle at this point. Why? Another question. Why did the LDS Church publicly release a statement through a random public affairs person and distance themselves from Tim Ballard in an unprecedented news release? You guys already know I don't speak for the church. I don't speak for the church. If the charges and allegations are true, as stated above, and Tim Ballard used Elder Ballard's name and goodwill to extract sexual favors or money or whatever it is, what would you do as an organization? Why are you involved in helping these victims? What was the other question that people were saying? It's difficult. Hold on. I'm gonna do a couple. Well, let's see. Who do you believe in a world of lies? You have to come to account of discernment. You never know if these women are a part of a darker plan. Well, see, and this is where and here we are, right? Like, this is where you have to judge. Like, you have to make your decisions. And sometimes these things, you think this is the end of it? Like, this is just the very beginning of what's coming. This is just the very beginning. Like, now here we go into my beliefs, right? So you guys can just move on and go off of whatever, but we are in the last days. We are going to, and these are just I believe that we are like approaching, like, how you hear the last days? I think it's like we're beyond last days. We're in the final seconds. And I believe that it is our duty to speak truth, especially when you know that you have to. But when somebody comes to you and you know And then when it keeps coming, it's not just one random tip, right? One random tip. Like when there is a huge pattern, circumstantial evidence, the totality, this is a big deal. And I believe these women, and I believe that things are going to happen pretty quickly, if I were to guess. And I care about truth. And so somebody asked, like, why are you involved in helping these people? Well, for those of you that know, yeah, I know I'm biased. Like, there's probably some people on here watching me that hate every bit of my politics. They hate a lot of my takes. I care about truth. I think it's really important that all of us, no matter what side of the political spectrum you are, what's the truth? Let's talk about that. And I believe we're commanded to speak truth. And I believe we're commanded to shine light. And sometimes that sucks, even when we're sinners ourselves. I heard these stories and knew, despite being a former friend. And when I say former friend, it's like, you guys, I am on record multiple times supporting. I did an event. We did an event with Tim Ballard down in St. George where we got like 6,000 people during COVID. I don't know if you guys remember that. We did a documentary. It's right up here. Like, if you do my Linktree bio, go to and watch the documentary. It's in the documentary. And it's called Non-Essential. And so I am on record multiple times defending it. I did a big post about Sound of Freedom. And then when I was presented with this stuff, I knew what I believe that I had to do. And the whole thing sucks. You see? And so I'm just going to give my message to Tim. I don't know if he's even going to see this. I love you, brother. There's nothing that can't be done. There's nothing that can be done that Christ can't fix. I know that. And I hope that if you come to Christ and you go through the process, I've been through processes, He will forgive you. And I know that the atonement is real. This is why we're here. Is that we all are sinners. And we all make really big mistakes. And you can come back, and people are forgiving, right? People are forgiving. And some people aren't, and they're always that's just their nature, right? But people are forgiving. And so just do the right thing. Don't put any more people in this wake. Please do the right thing. And that's all. Thanks.